gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. You'll see him tonight debuting on ESPN with the crew. My brother, the one and only Kenny the Jet Smith. What's up, big time? How are you, man?
Man, that got me excited. The debuting. I haven't debuted on a network. Say that we're debuting on ESPN tonight, man. That got my blood flowing, man.
Damn right. It's well earned, and we're ecstatic to have you, man. You saw the games. Let's get right into it. You saw the games last night. Let's start out with what you saw from the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. Did you see a title contender on either side?
Well, for sure. You know, we can't judge the Lakers without LeBron because LeBron is a playoff guy. You know, he's probably going to be able to rest a lot more with a Luka Doncic, obviously, in the lineup. He could take the time that he needs to get back. He might have played last year at this time if there was no Luka, you know, so his ability to rest a little bit more because, you know, obviously last year with Anthony Davis was sitting out. So you couldn't have two guys sitting out. So Luka playing is going to give him they're title contenders. Both of those teams. We know at Golden State, you know, Jonathan Kuminga's been there as the question mark all the time. And if he plays well, they become a threat. They become a threat.
Kenny, do you worry about the Lakers defense? Like, I know Bron and Luka being in shape is a differentiator, right? Because both those guys are just special. But maybe some of the defensive challenges, personnel-wise, for the Lakers, is that of any concern for you throughout the course of the season?
Well, I think the one thing that, you know, even when Luka went to the finals in Dallas, you say around him was really lively, you know, defensive-minded players that could really, you know, protect the rim. That's where I would say for the Lakers is, do they have a rim protector? Because at times they at least last year they played LeBron at the 5, and so now you become such a small lineup and you don't have a rim protector. So you can give up threes, but I don't think you can give up threes and layups. You have to be able, the one thing about the NBA, they say you have to be able to shoot the three. To me, you have to be able to defend it if you want to play. So, you know, is Ayton going to be a rim protector and not just an offensive threat? That's going to be the difference.
Kenny, I was very impressed with Oklahoma City last night. You know, you could come out flat on that kind of evening. Their second-best player is not in the game. They're down the whole way. SGA makes big shots late after Durant missed a free throw. Then he makes 2 free throws to win. And you know better than anybody, when you get the one title, sometimes it's a little easier to get the second one. Rockets are a good example of that. When you won the first one, you won the second one when you brought Drexler in. Sometimes you get the one, the pressure's off, you know how to do it. You get the second one pretty easy. OKC, to me, is by far the favorite in the NBA this year. What's your take with that?
Yeah, you know, I've had 2 opening nights where, you know, we won rings and have ring nights. So I know what you're talking about. It's a difficult night to do. But, you know, I never judge opening night as our night because it takes you off, you know, as Jake can tell you, like, being a basketball player is 100% about routine. What is your routine? And your routine is just thrown off totally. You know, you get sleep on the same time, you warm up at the same time, and all of a sudden you get a ring night thrown in there, which is great, but it throws you off. But they played well last year, guys, without, you know, people in the lineup. That's not, as long as the MVP of the league, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is in the, he controls the pace of the game, and he allows anyone who comes in to play at that pace and play great. So for me, it's all about if he's playing and how many games he's playing.
Kenny, I look at Oklahoma City, and there's really no intrigue there. They're the reigning defending champions. We know who they are. We know what they're going to be. We know how formidable they are and what you're going to have to deal with going up against Shea Butter and those boys. Houston, I find very intriguing. You needed a number 1 option. You went out and you got one in Kevin Durant. I saw Fred VanVleet go down, and I said, damn, Houston's going to be compromised. But then I saw Ime Udoka start 4 dudes 6'11" last night. And I'm looking at their size, their ability to defend, what you just said about not making the 3, but being able to go and defend the 3, which we know they can do. I'm wondering what your thoughts are about a team that you helped, a franchise that you helped capture back-to-back NBA titles in the 90s. What are your thoughts about this Houston Rockets team and how much of a threat they can truly end up being in the Western Conference?
For me, if Fred VanVleet is there, if he was there, they would be the odds-on rival to Oklahoma City because they would have experience, they would have depth, they would have size. The one thing of having that great big lineup, at certain times you might have to go small. And who is going to be your small lineup? When you have VanVleet in the game, you could create a small lineup. And you could actually put Kevin Durant at the 4. But without him, you're a little one-dimensional. That's the only thing that makes me nervous about Houston. It's now that they have to play big. And before, you want to play small. We got our smallest athlete, more athletic, and they can be taller than you and bigger than you. Do we have to play big? Oh, our big is actually faster, more athletic than yours. Now they become a little more one-dimensional. So now that to me is the only, I would say, negative. But when you put Kevin Durant on any basketball team, immediately they become right into the mix of contenders when you put them on.
Anybody except Houston, but I get what you're saying. Kenny the Jet Queen's in the building. I got to ask you this. Am I off my rocker by saying if Kyrie is healthy, if Anthony Davis is healthy, I know that's a big if.
No.
But
no,
if they're healthy, that they could win the chip, the Dallas Mavericks? They could win it all?
I mean, Kyrie Irving, that's the big if. You know, I mean, he's coming back from a major surgery and a major injury. But on paper, if you just put those, 5, 7 guys that you're talking about on paper, you go, who's better? Like, who wouldn't you want to have? And if Cooper Flag is close, not even what he's supposed to be, if he's close to what he could be, and they become what, the Mavs made this huge trade for. And, Nico becomes this hero inside of the state of Texas and around the NBA instead of the villain because, he says, I want to be more defensive-minded. You definitely are. You became more defensive-minded by adding Cooper Flag. Forget about what you already had and Anthony Davis. When you add Cooper Flag, I think his best attribute right now, if you saw him, which, I'm sure Jay being a guy from Durham, I would say the school's name.
I know you never say our school's name, Jay. You never say it, ever.
We never say their name, but, watching him even in AAU, because I have an AAU program in that EYBL circuit, Jet Academy, so we watched him. I'm like, this guy is a defensive player, be better than he is an offensive player at this point in his career. So I think that's what the Dallas Mavericks have done. Yes, they could be a contender, 100%. That's the answer.
Kenny, first off, just want to give you a shout out for you and Nas and what you guys are building there in Queens. It's incredible. I know you and I have connected about that. I'm just getting ready for the meat and potatoes of the season because I feel like when I start coming in here, I'm going to hear New York stand up. New York stand up a lot. So I want to ask you about New York. How do you feel about the Knicks, Orlando?